So in this project, we're going to create a very simple basic word count app, a web browser application for counting words in a given text. So a very simple basic project to give you an idea of how powerful coding could be specifically with ChatGPT 4. So we did the last project with Bard for data analysis. This time I'm going to use ChatGPT 4 to create a web application. So the first thing I did was I asked GPT, let's create a basic word count web app using Python and Flask in Visual Studio. We're going to use Python as the programming language to do this. Flask is a specific library within Python that allows it to do a lot of different things when it comes to creating web applications. That's why we're using Flask. And Visual Studio is a software IDE program that allows you to code in Python, and it has a lot of different functionalities available within it. If you're not familiar with it, you can just download Visual Studio and follow along with me what I'm doing. You don't need anything else except Visual Studio installed on your PC to be able to do this. So how do we go about doing this? So the first thing it tells us to do is set up the environment. First, make sure that you have Python installed in your system. So you will have to install Visual Studio. You can download it from the official Python website. You also need to have, so you have to download the Python first, and then you have to download the Visual Studio code. Is a popular code editor, and it can be downloaded from its official website. So just download these two softwares. You don't have to do anything else. And if you're using a PC, make sure when you install Python, you add it, install Python in Visual Studio, and the option appears to add it in your global path variable. You do that. Apart from that, there is not much available. There is not much that you can get stuck with. Once you have Python and VS Code installed, you need to install Flask. Flask is a lightweight web server framework. You can install it using pip, which is package manager for Python. So copy this, go to your command terminal and run it. I have my Mac, I'm working on a Mac, so I can run it on my Mac here. Pip install Flask in the terminal, and it will install the relevant library for me. If you have PC, you can just do it through the command terminal. Setting up the project directory. Create a new folder anywhere on your system. This folder will be a project directory. Let's call this folder word count app. Okay, so I went in and I created an empty folder here called word count app. Okay, open VS Code, go to file, open folder, and select the word count app folder. Okay, so I will go to VS Code folder and I will select my word count app folder. Great, I'm inside the folder and it has nothing in it. Okay, now create the Flask application. In the word count folder, we'll create a new file named app.py. Okay, let's create this file. This will be the entry point to our Flask application. Write the following code in the app.py file. Okay, so this file should be in the word count app folder. So if I click here, it gives me the option to add a file and add a folder. So first we're adding a file. This is the name of the file, and then I can copy the code here, and that is what I need to do here. Okay. In the above code, we first import the necessary modules. We create a Flask web server and define a route for the home page of our application. If the home page is accessed with a post request, we get the submitted text, find all the words in it, and count the words. Finally, we render the index.html templates and pass the word count to it. Okay. The next thing is to create the HTML template. Flask uses a template engine called Jinja 2, which allows to create HTML templates and fill them with data dynamically. We'll need to create a folder called templates. Okay, so let's go and create a new folder here now instead of a file and call it templates. Inside the templates folder, create a new file called index.html. Okay, so now within our templates folder, we are creating a new file which is called index.html, and this is inside the folder, right? Yep, this is inside the folder. And now I'll copy this code and paste it here in index.html, just like it asked me to do. What is this code doing? In the above code, we create a simple HTML where users can enter the text. When the form is submitted, a post request is made to the home page. If the word count is not none, we display it. Running the application. Open the terminal in VS Code from View, Terminal. In the terminal, navigate to word count app folder. Run the application by typing the following command and pressing enter. So let's type continue so that it can continue writing whatever it was writing. Okay, so I need to go to the terminal and give this command in. Okay, so view, and there should be terminal here. Here is the terminal, and my terminal is open. I need to give python app.py and let's see what it does. Do not use in production deployment, use in production. Okay. Debugger restarting with start is active. Debugger, let's see. So now it came back saying that running on this specific link. I can copy this link. Actually, let's go to ChatGPT. It should have explained this as well. You can now test the application by doing the following. Open a web browser, navigate to the URL provided in the terminal output. Is it the same output? Yeah, 1270015,000. Yeah. You should see a web page with a form where you can enter text, enter some text and press the words button. You should see the word count of the text you entered. Okay. So if I go copy this link, hopefully this is exactly the same as the one in the VS Code. Okay, awesome, great. So now I can type something. Hi, my name is Saad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, you have a word count already. Okay, so a very basic, simple way of doing this. Now the next thing, if we want to further play around with it, we can add an CSS to it too. Add a CSS as well. So CSS can help us design the HTML much better in simple terms. So that's what we're doing next. Sure, to add CSS to our Flask application, we need to create a static directory where we can keep our CSS files. Flask has a built-in convention for this. Create static directory in the word count app directory, create a new directory called static. Okay, so let's create a new folder called static first. And the folder goes in here. No, wrong place. Delete static. Okay. I need to click on my I need to click here and then create a folder. Yeah. So now I have a new folder called static. Now in the static folder, you need a file called style.css. So this is the file that will govern our styling of the CSV of the HTML. And then I can paste this code here, save it, and then I can go back and run my file and see how this got updated. Okay, nothing yet. Okay, link the CSS file in HTML. Okay, right now the two are not linked. Now you need to link the CSS file in your index.html file. You can do this by adding a link element in the head of your HTML document. Here's how to do it. Okay. So I just need to copy this. Actually, let's not take the risk and copy the entire thing and update the index.html. Now let's go back and run this and see how it changed. Okay, so it is a better format now. It's centered, aligned, and the answer will still be the same, I guess. So now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, my name is Saad Ahmed. Yeah, 5 words. Okay, so this was a quick tutorial on how you can create a simple web application using ChatGPT really fast. This was a very basic example. I can do so much more in it. I can actually create a landing page for myself if I want, similar to my LinkedIn, where I can advertise my courses, and it wouldn't take me more than 2-3 hours to come up with the entire design and the details that I want to provide, and GPT can guide me throughout the process. So if you have been on the fence for coding, or if you're even actually a coder, you can tremendously increase your productivity by learning how to code with these large language models. And that's what I wanted to show you as a part of this project.